To you. Short program today. Thursday night football coming up in just a little bit. So it's you, me, hanging out with you on a what's today? Thursday, right, JW? I'm losing track of the day.
It is Thursday, Rich. Yes, Thursday.
Why? I'm getting because football's going on right now, and then I got basketball going on. We're getting ready. We had a exhibition game. First game of the season is coming up on the 7th, and we'll have our first full broadcast on the 11th. Then I got Arizona football going on at the same time. And then tonight, it's the Eagles and the Texans for Thursday night football here on 1290. So happy Thursday to you all. So on Thursday, we do Dragon Balls football headlines. Normally, Roxy Bernstein joins us, but we're going to have Roxy join us on Friday, and we're going to get Brett Boone to talk about the World Series because it was pretty outstanding last night. A combined no-hitter, although I think a bunch of people are stupid on their reaction to all of that. So we'll talk about all of that today on the program. I'm happy you're with me. Although today is the first day, it kind of feels like fall, right, JW?
Little bit, yeah, a little bit.
It's a little bit of what they call sweater weather.
I figure when you drive through your neighborhood and you smell a lot of chimneys in action, then it's probably a little overreaction from snowbirds. But yeah,
right.
I think the high today was something in the low 60s. So
yeah.
I guess that's considered winter for
You
Tucson.
know what? We're a little soft. Would you admit?
I think that people who move, honestly, here's my take. I've had a lot of friends who moved here from New York and Maine and all other kind of places.
Right.
And they take about a year, 2 years to acclimate. But then when they go home, all they do is complain about how cold it was. So it does take some time for the blood.
What do they complain?
If you come here from a cold weather place,
right,
it will take your body a year or two to acclimate. But then you'll find yourself.
Tucson.
You were laughing at the Tucsonans who are complaining about it being too cold at 52 degrees. You will find yourself having a similar opinion if you've been here for a few years.
Oh, if you've been here for a year.
After a few years. Everybody who had, by the time people were in their junior year of college, after they'd been out here for a few years and went back to visit family and relatives, they always complained about how cold it was.
Does your blood thin when you live in the desert?
I'm not a scientist, Rich, and I don't play one on the radio, but I don't.
You get used to it.
I don't know the facts of that, but you definitely get acclimated. You get used to the
right.
warmth,
So, like for me, the heat doesn't bother me. In the middle of summer, it really doesn't bother me. Does it bother you?
No. I mean, I'm a native. It doesn't bother me. It bothers me when I go visit my significant other's relatives in Arkansas, and it's like 92% humidity and 95 degrees.
Garrett's in there. Garrett, does it bother you? No, Garrett, you're allowed to talk on the radio. You can come over. And you don't want to talk?
No, he wants to talk. He's coming over.
Is he coming over?
Yeah.
Does the cold weather or the hot weather bother you?
No, desert rat.
Desert rat. Okay. Now then, how cold does it have to be for you to freak out?
Once it starts getting to 40, it starts getting to me.
It starts getting to you.
Yeah.
JW?
Well, the truth is, Rich, is that when it gets to be about 70 in the studio, we both have a parka on because the air conditioning is right above us. So.
Okay, so I'm a fat guy, although people told me to stop saying that because I'm not as obese as I make myself out to be on the radio.
Sure.
But I actually have, I'll show this on the stream on YouTube, I actually have a little fan in here because normally it's stupidly hot in the studio. Today's the first day I turned the fan off because it's actually chilly outside. Like I got on a sweatshirt today. I put on a pullover today.
I think the big problem, Rich, is you're coming from San Diego most recently, and San Diego is 70 degrees every single day of the year, day and night.
Right.
It doesn't deviate from that. So therefore, you just get used to that perfect temperature at all times.
I think I'm used to it. Now, I will tell you this. When's the last time I went out of town? Someplace legitimately out of town.
Disneyland.
I went to Disneyland, but the weather was nice. Okay, so when I went to New York last year for Fleet Week, it was hot and humid, and there was a point where like I got lightheaded because it was so humid. I'm like, wait a minute, I lived in Florida for over 10 years, and you have to bite the air and chew it before you can breathe it because it's so humid.
I think not only do you get used to it, but you also like prepare for it. So if you live in Tucson in the summer, what you understand is that water is your best friend.
You hydrate.
And that if you don't drink, if you're not a hydrated person when you move out here, well, guess what? Once August comes, you're gonna hydrate because you have to.
2, 4, 6, 8, man, we got to hydrate. Everybody walks around. There's no excuse for you not to walk around with a hydro flask.
Yeah, and so I think people who aren't accustomed to basically prepping, more or less, you can't get away from the like 80% humidity. It doesn't go away.
No. But I love this much more than just being hot and sticky and stinky all the time if you live in a place that's really humid. Like here, you don't stink, I don't think. when it's hot because you don't really sweat because it evaporates like that. Like your shirts aren't like clinging to you, right?
It's funny. Again, going back to my significant other's relatives, when they came to visit us, her dad was shocked that he never had sweat on his skin.
Yeah.
Because when you sweat, it just evaporates instantaneously.
Like that, and it keeps you cooler. Where
Exactly.
on the other one, it just makes you feel sticky and stinky and sweaty and disgusting all the time.
Going back to the start, I love it when I smell chimney smoke, and I love it when the temperatures
too.
drop a little bit because, Tucson doesn't really have a fall unless you go up on the mountain. You can see some leaves changing color. But the idea that Tucson doesn't have a winter is nonsense. I mean, there are some very cold days.
There are cold nights,
you get down
and
freezing.
you got to put on more lotion because it gets drier.
Sure, dry and cold.
Dry and cold. All right, enough of me trying to be a weatherman. But if anybody actually knows, does my blood really thin out because I'm living in the desert?
Yes, all of the doctors who are listening to our voices right
Where's
now, please
Dr.
call in.
Robbins when I need him? Here I am talking about college football when I could have been talking about my health. Let's get to see what's rattling around in my big old head.
Warning. The following segment might trigger some listeners, and 1290 does not take responsibility for the following content.
What the hell is going on?
It's time for the list as we explore the sick, twisted mind of our host, Rich Herrera,
And that's when things got bad.
and the list of things he is thinking about in that huge size 8 chrome magnum head of his.
Look at the size of that boy's head. That's like an orange on a toothpick.
You're gonna give the boy a complex.
Well, that's a huge noggin. Has its own weather system.
It does. It really does. And my weather system is sunny all the time. All right, here's what's going on. Football going on the road to take on Utah. It's a tough road to hoe for the Arizona Wildcats. Jed Fish started off his press conference today talking about the fact that the Cats are taking on everybody and their brother, and it is not an easy part of the football schedule. Think about this. For the Arizona Wildcats, you've taken on number 12, Oregon, Washington, number 10, USC. You got Utah, you got UCLA. I mean, this is the heart of this 5-game stretch. And by the way, Washington State's pretty good. So you're taking on the best of the Pac-12, some of the best teams in college football. Like I said, this is the really tough part for Arizona football. If they lose again and fall to if they lose again and fall to 3-6, big question is, basketball started. What will the passion for Arizona football be with 3-6 if that's their record? And if they lose to UCLA and they're 3-7 when they come back for their final 2 games, what will the stands look like? What will the Arizona fans be thinking? Or will they have moved on to say, hey, it's time for basketball season? Let me just say this while you're deciding where you're going to spend your time, how you're going to spend your attention, what you're going to pay attention to. Arizona football is a lot better than it was last year. And I'm not just saying that because we're the flagship. I'm not saying that because I host the pre- and post-game show. They're demonstratively better than they were last year,
Passing
JW.
the eye test for sure.
They passed the eye test last year.
Fun football to watch.
They're fun football. They put up yards. They put up numbers.
There's been more one-handed catches this year, Rich Herrera, than I can remember in the last 10 years.
Bingo. There's some exciting plays. But with a record of 3-6, if that's what happens this weekend, will you notice? I think you need to make sure you go a little bit deeper for Arizona football so you do pay attention. They have gotten better. They've got legitimate running backs. They've got legitimate quarterbacks. They've got great wide receivers. They've gotten a lot better than they were last year. Remember last year you're celebrating beating Cal and you had one win and you're ready to pop champagne bottles because you were going to have a victory and you weren't going to go winless for a season. I tell people when I go on Pac-12 Network or come on some of those other shows that for Arizona football, the hole was so deep, the crater was so big that even if they got better, it's going to be hard to tell because that crater is about as deep as the Grand Canyon of how far Arizona football had fallen. So if they end up finishing up the season 3-6, give them 2 more losses, 2 more wins, and they finish 5-6. Let me see. I got to do my math here. Anyway, if they finish with 4 wins this season, I'll do that. Is that enough to get people excited to know that Arizona football is going in the right direction? I hope so. It better be. Because if not, you're not being reasonable in your expectations of what Arizona football is all about.
I think, Rich, the fan support's been great this year.
I think so,
you know what's
too.
important is that recruits are paying attention and that
Right.
they believe, right?
Well, here's the thing. Right now, we're in the tweener season, and this is tough. So for us, right now, we're in the middle of football season, but we got to start getting ready for basketball season. So, JW, you do a football game on Saturday, you do a basketball game on Monday, you'll do a football game on Saturday, and then you'll come back and do a basketball game on Monday, and then another basketball game on Friday, and then a football game. So right now, we're in that tween season. So here's the thing. Arizona sports fans, what are you going to pay attention to? What are you going to want to talk about? Because Tommy has his first game on Monday against Nicholls State, the first real game of the season. The expectations are back for Arizona football. The expectations is to win. Winning is expected, and nothing else really will ever satisfy or quench that thirst for Arizona basketball fans. It's win or go home. So for Jed Fish, he's going to have to compete for your attention and have some compelling football down the stretch, because if not, Arizona basketball, which was so successful year one under Tommy Lloyd, and this year is going to be a little bit of an enigma, a riddle wrapped in a question, because we don't know what they're going to be yet. They're certainly going to get a lot of eyeballs and ears and people paying attention. And oh, by the way, Adia has had the spotlight for the last couple of years, and she'll fight for it even harder now. I told her, her mind once expanded, has a hard time returning back to its original shape. Once you taste champagne, it's insatiable. You never, ever, 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 ever can quench that thirst. Once you know what it's like to win a championship, you can never quench that thirst. Why do you think, JW, why do you think Tom Brady isn't retiring?
Because he's obsessed.
I think so. I think he's obsessed with playing the game of football because he knows deep down in his heart there is nothing he will ever do the rest of his life that will be able to fill the void once he steps away from the
On
football
that note,
field.
It's like people used to talk a lot of trash on Michael Jordan because he had a gambling problem, right? So he'd bet $100,000 you'll miss this putt. Well, to me, it's just because after he retired, that same thing. You'll never get back to any kind of level of competitive, those juices flowing that you got when you were in an NBA Finals game. So I think Tom Brady, first of all, doesn't have to prove anything. He's got all the records. And, he won a Super Bowl at 42, 43?
Right.
So I think he's still playing because he can, but I don't think he knows what else to do.
Because that's what he is. But he also knows that where else in the world are you ever going to be able to stand on the field in front of 100,000 people with every eye upon you? There's really nowhere else that you'll ever have that happen. So for Adia Barnes, there's nothing else that will ever quench her thirst or Tommy's thirst like winning. So all three of these coaches are going to work their tails off because we're in that tweener time where everybody is vying for attention. Men's and women's basketball will be compelling to watch, and I will tell you that. Oh, they are going to be good. But they're going to be good in two different ways. Tommy, because we're going to get to see him put together this model of lots of different pieces. Tab A goes into Tab B, and then you're going to use Tab C to go into Tab double C. And then he's going to have to put the decals on. Were you ever good at putting together models, JW?
Well, I've done a lot of animation and 3D modeling. So
No, like a little kid putting together the plastic cars. Yeah.
Airplanes and cars and stuff. I did more painting than
Really?
decals, yeah. Because I went to school for art.
I know,
painting
but
is my thing.
don't, because then I just sound like a big oaf.
Well, I get glue all over my fingers.
Okay,
it's like
good.
it's a whole thing.
Like I'm not good at putting together model cars. I'm horrible at it. I tried when I was a little kid. I got glue everywhere, and I couldn't figure out.
I like watching other people put together model cars on YouTube because then I don't have all those hassles that they're going through. But you still get to watch something awesome happen.
Yeah, I don't have the patience to do that. I just don't. But for Tommy Lloyd, before I go down this rabbit hole, his season is going to be like putting together one of those model cars because he's got a bunch of different pieces and he's got to make sure he puts them all together in the right order. And if he does, he's going to have a hot rod. If he doesn't, he's going to have the model car that was sitting in my room that my parents were so nice to tell me when I was 7, "Oh, mijo, you did a good job," even though it looked like garbage. And for Adia, she's got this thirst that she can never quench unless it's getting back to the finals, unless it's getting back to the Final Four, because she knows what it's like to be there. And just like Tom Brady, that is such a powerful feeling. It is so addictive. There's nothing else in the world that can ever compare to that.
And Rich, I'll tell you this. I don't know Adia Barnes personally, but I do know I followed her career ever since she was here. And I think she brought that with her. I don't think that has anything to do with their success on the court for the Arizona women's basketball program. I just think she personally comes to work every single day with that attitude. Yep. That success is what we're striving for. We're striving for the top of the mountain. Good
is the enemy of great. Either way, it's going to be it's a fun time to be in Arizona right now. By the way, baseball and softball are getting ready to go as well. So we're going to have lots to get into.
As soon as you can smell chimney smoke, you just know that all the sports are right around the corner.
All the sports are right around the corner. Anyway, that's what's rattling around in my big old head. What did Jed Fish say at his press conference today? Well, if you were listening to 1290, you heard it live. I've got some of the best questions and answers from Jed's press conference. That's coming up. And then at the bottom of the hour, Brett Boone will join us. We'll talk a little World Series with my buddy. All coming up here on 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step to handoff. It is good. Backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, 3 have to go, steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down. That was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Mathurin with the ball for the Wildcats. Mathurin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Mathurin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Mathurin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's a huge shot for Ben Mathurin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Mathurin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berryhill. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Straight back to throw. Has some time. Steps up in the pocket. The Wildcats have got him for a safety. Second safety Arizona has recorded this season. It's a 24-12 ball game, and the Cats will get the ball.
That's big
Pulling
time.
on the field is a safety.
Yes, that's big time by Arizona. That time defense did a great job of just closing the pocket from the inside, and then the pressure on the outside by Abear. They just got him. They just got there. They won their blocks that time. Excellent job by Arizona defense and really changing the momentum of this game.
All right, we roll on here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Today's program is brought to you by QC Kinetics. You know what? QC Kinetics is a new way of dealing with pain. If you've dealt with pain for a while and it's been keeping you from living your life, you're like, oh, man. I went to the doctor and they told me, well, you know what? You could try this or you could try that. And you're like, okay, you know what? It would be like going to ask for advice from the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? It was good 40 years ago, but there's new ways of finding things, and that's what QC Kinetics is. It's a new way of dealing with chronic joint pain. With advanced regenerative medicine and these non-surgical alternatives, you need to check this out. Whether you've been dealing with joint pain for an injury, maybe it was arthritis, they've told you steroids, pain med, surgery. No, there's better ways. There's new ways. QC Kinetics uses regenerative medicine that can restore and repair damaged tissue. These amazing protocols work with pain caused by injury as well, like torn meniscus or rotator cuff. So here's the deal. You can either do the things that your dad and your grandfather did for their joint pain, or you can realize it's 2022 and you can find out that there's new ways of dealing with chronic joint pain. So call QC Kinetics now. Don't keep living with that pain. Learn how regenerative medicine could give you your life back with no drugs and no surgery. Call QC Kinetics right now for a free consultation and get out there and live your life. 520-497-4955, 520-497-4955. QC Kinetics. Here's their number, 520-497-4955. That's 520-497-4955. QC Kinetics, located Academy in Orange Grove. Call them one more time, 520-497-4955. 4955. All right, Jed Fish had his weekly press conference and went out there. The Utah game is going to be tough. You're going on the road. It's going to be a little chilly, might be wet, and Utah's a tough place to play. Here's Jed Fish, cut 43, as he began his press conference talking about how good the Utah Utes are.
Obviously, getting ready for a very, very good football team in Utah. We know how good they are. They're sitting here with, I think, 6-2, and coming off of a Thursday night game, so they had definitely pretty good time in between the last game against Washington State and now, and then coming off a big win against their last home game against SC. So great battle ahead of us. Excited about it that we get a chance to play another top team. I think we've, going from, playing number 8 team in the country, number 9 team in the country, now number 12 team in the country. It's a pretty great challenge for our players, and certainly excited about that.
It is a challenge for the Arizona Wildcats. And here's the thing. We walked through the schedule. Arizona had a chance to jump out and get themselves some wins early, beating San Diego State. Tough game against Mississippi State, beating North Dakota State. The loss to Cal hurt. The win against Colorado was strong. Oregon, Washington. Then you knew once you got past Colorado, it's going to be Oregon. It's going to be Washington. It's going to be USC, then Utah. Then you have UCLA right after that. And Washington State is no slouch. And then you figure out who's going to show up for Arizona State. This is a tough stretch of games. So I asked Jed, this is cut 54, how has the team responded in practice taking on
Seems great.
All these big teams?
Seems great to me. We certainly didn't flinch last week. It was, 17-13 at halftime. It was 17-16 to start the third quarter. It went back and forth, 31-29 with 14 minutes left, and they scored twice, and we scored to make it 45-37, converted on a 2-point play. It seemed like no stress at all in terms of getting them ready to play. Felt the same way against Washington. It's 42-39, and no issue at all trying to get them ready to play. I think our guys are excited about it. It's, what you got to do is you got to find a way to turn the table, and, the score will take care of itself if you keep playing hard and keep practicing hard and know what you're supposed to do and what you need to get accomplished. But this is part of it. I know we talked about a long time ago, which felt like a long time ago, but it was only a year ago, that you go from losing big to losing small to winning big, and we've got to kind of be right in that middle. We're right in those two areas. Beating North Dakota State by a point or two, by 3, whatever it was, by beating San Diego State in a game that was pretty close all the way until the end. Losing some close games here. We're right now at the brink that we need to keep getting better and keep playing complementary football.
It's so many of those games, JW, were one-possession games in the fourth quarter. Beginning of the fourth quarter, most of these games were one possession.
Yeah, I mean, the past 2 years, really, Rich, if you think about it, like they've been in games right after the third quarter. Maybe some depth, offensive line depth, defensive line depth, might have affected those fourth quarters. But yeah, they've been in almost every game these last few years.
And the only game that was a true blowout, as you look through the schedule, was the Colorado game in Arizona's favor. California ended up being a track meet, and they outran them at the end. Mississippi State was a one-possession game. Oregon, they were going toe-to-toe with Oregon. They went toe-to-toe with Washington. They certainly went toe-to-toe with USC.
Yeah, that was a 2-point game with 14 minutes to go, right?
Yeah. How do you do against Utah? Do you go toe-to-toe with Utah? Can you go toe-to-toe with UCLA? And I'll go back to something that my old partner Booger McFarland used to say all the time. Iron sharpens iron. And I guess that's where I really kind of buy into what Jed says. You lose big, you lose little, you win big. So on that curve, you're in that lose little, and they've been standing there toe-to-toe fighting with these teams.
Yeah, well, you're talking about, Coach Fish coming here to build a program, not build on, but build from scratch, right? And I think that starts with being competitive, and then it moves into beating those teams. Well, obviously you want to beat all the teams that you should beat on paper, being competitive with those top 25 teams that are in your league. And then the next step is obviously getting consecutive wins against those good teams. So I think right now, clearly they have some incredible talent on this roster, some young talent especially. The fan support is all there. If you're watching the games, you're seeing that Arizona's in all of those games. It's just a matter of getting to that next step, which is consistently beating those teams that are highly ranked, and then you're a highly ranked team, and then everybody's looking to beat you.
Bingo. So anyway, I just want to bring a couple things out of Jed Fish's press conference today. Hey, today's program is brought to you by our friends at PGA Tour Superstore. PGA Tour Superstore, the biggest, the best selection of golf equipment anywhere in southern Arizona. They have everything you need. Now the weather's really getting nice. It's time to get out there and start playing golf again. Come on, folks. It's not 115 degrees in the middle of the day. Now we can go out and enjoy golf, and this is the perfect time to do it. We have so many municipal courses, so many resort courses. Get out there and enjoy the game of golf. And if you're looking to get better, whether it's with new equipment, maybe it's instruction, maybe you just want to get a new look, maybe you need new golf shoes, maybe you need some club repair. All of that can be done at PGA Tour Superstore. PGA Tour Superstore has everyday low prices on golf balls, all the accessories, all the clothing you need, clubs and everything else. And here's a little secret. They have previously owned clubs as well. So maybe you're somebody like me, I'm going to go get this club, and I got the wrong club. Probably bought it in the wrong place. I bring it back in there. It's brand new technology. You've probably been swung twice. The person says, there's no way I can control this thing, and it's right for your game. You could check all that out as well. PGA Tour Superstore has something for everybody that loves the game of golf. They're located at Oracle and Limberlost. Here's a great deal. Go into PGA Tour Superstore, mention Wildcats Radio 1290, get $20 off a purchase of $100, $50 off a purchase of $250 or more, only at PGA Tour Superstore. Restrictions apply. Make sure you mention Wildcats Radio 1290 for a great deal. All right, coming up with the program, Brett Boone will join us. We'll talk a little World Series football with him. And then Dragon Ball's football headlines promise to be semi-entertaining. It's Dragon Ball, so JW, I can't promise anything.
He tries really hard to be entertaining, and I think it's up to the fans out there. I mean, I think Dragon Ball personally is very entertaining as far as I'm concerned, but
okay, well,
that's up to
I'm
them.
going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's all coming up here on 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step to hand off. Into the backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments for the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, Down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home. And foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down. That was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen. Picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
We're
a
tied.
huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berryhill. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Straight back to throw. Has some time. Steps up in the pocket. The Wildcats have got him for a safety. Second safety Arizona has recorded this season. It's a 24-12 ball game, and the Cats will get the ball.
That's big
Pulling
time.
on the field is a safety.
Yes, that's big time by Arizona. That time defense did a great job of just closing the pocket.
We'll have the Eagles and the Texans going at it, and then the World Series continues as well. We will talk a little baseball in the program right now because I'm going to bring on Brett Boone, friend of this broadcast, author of the Boone podcast, and he's had some pretty exciting guests coming up on the show lately. So we're going to talk to him about everything baseball and his podcast. Mr. Boone, how are you?
Hi, Rich. What's going on?
I was rather shocked, taken aback, and confused after yesterday's World Series game where the day before, Philadelphia was just hitting home run after home run after home run. Then you come out the next day and Philadelphia gets no hit. And everybody and their brother scratching their head going, what in the world's going on?
Well, I got to tip my cap to Javier. I mean, he's been pitching so well. You know what dawned on me when we started the game last night is we've got Justin Verlander, who's pretty much it's a done deal. He's going to be the Cy Young Award winner for the American League this year. The way it has shaken out for this series with the rain out is they got an extra day in there. So normally, Verlander's day on 4 days rest, his normal 5th day, and they weren't able to do that because I mean I was just thinking before the game how many teams don't have their Cy Young Award winner and get him in as many games as possible, especially if the weather cooperates with you and you're going to go on his normal day. So I think with what happened the day before with McCullers, and obviously, you know, what Javier did was unbelievable. It's just one of those nights. Javier's got that mid-90s fastball. It's not from a Jugs gun or a ray gun perspective, not on the surface doesn't seem to be overpowering, but it's got, you know, and I hear it all the time, so I don't want to kind of reiterate it too much, but they call it late life. There is some truth to that. It just kind of explodes on you. And I've faced a lot of pitchers in my day where they'd come back to the dugout and they'd ask me, is he throwing hard? I'd say no, but it seems like he is. It gets on you. And I don't know whether he hides the ball well or something in his mechanics, but it looks like a pretty questionable. I mean, I've never seen so many, especially with the Phillies right now, who are a red-hot, powerful team, to miss so many fastballs in the zone. It's got to be because of that late life, Javier and company. The bullpen came in, finished it, did a great job. We're 2-2. Verlander tonight. We'll see how he does. See if he can break that kind of rough record he has in the World Series.
So how crazy is it? 24 hours ago, everybody's planning the Phillies World Series parade. They can't be stopped. Look at them. They're mashing the ball all over the place. Now, 24 hours later, you're like, oh, my gosh, we're facing Verlander. It might go down 3-2 in this series. I mean, this thing is the drama back and forth has been crazy.
Well, I think what's amazing is when you think of the Astros, you know the name McCullers, you know the name Verlander. Those have been the two guys that have struggled the most in the postseason. The young guys out of nowhere, Valdez, Javier, they've been the ones that are lights out. Now turn to the Philly side, Nola, Wheeler. We know those names at the top of the rotation. They've gotten an 8.5 and a 7.5 ERA respectively, whereas Suarez, their number 3 guy on the Philly side, has been their go-to, is kind of their savior, the guy they want on the mound. I think the way that Houston has it set up now, obviously there's going to be you got the game tonight, there's going to be an off day tomorrow, and then 2 in Houston if they need the 2. On paper, it couldn't match up any better right now for Houston. You've got your big boy, like I said, going to be kind of the unanimous Cy Young Award winner this year in Verlander. But more importantly, then you get to Valdez. I'll be very interested if it goes 7 games, Rich, if they're going to bring Javier back on 3 days rest, or are they going to go to McCullers again? I think it's one of those things Dusty's thinking, well, we'll worry about that if it gets to that. But I would be shocked if McCullers took the mound again and it wasn't Javier if it went to a game 7. But it's going to be interesting tonight. Wheeler, hasn't been his best, but a very capable top-tier pitcher. And obviously, you're going against Verlander, who's 0-6 in his World Series starts. And even the greatness that he's had, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. As a player, I can tell you, it doesn't matter the year you've had or when you get to a certain thing, he knows what his record is in the World Series. And mentally, that starts to wear on you. It's going to be interesting how he comes out tonight and how he throws.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that because loudmouth, know-nothing talk show hosts like me will talk about, he's got that monkey on his back.
There's a lot of you out there.
There's a lot of clowns like me out there that are saying, he's got this monkey on his back, and the pressure's got to get to him, and blah, 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 blah. How much of that is true?
I don't think it's so much pressure for a guy like Verlander. I mean, he's had such a career, so much success. But I'll tell you, these little things, he knows in the back of his mind. He knows that World Series, and it's not because, I'm in the World Series, and now I'm going to put pressure on myself. No, it's just kind of the way it's rolled out. That, no, he hasn't been that successful in the World Series. But after a while, 1 time, 2 times, no big deal. I didn't feel good tonight, whatever the excuse you make for yourself. I used to make them all the time hitting. But when you get to I've never won a World Series game, I'm Justin Verlander, it starts to become a little bit, even the greatest of greats, they can't help but that mental side creep in a little bit. I'll tell you, I'd rather have it be a veteran guy like him if I'm an Astro right now, because if anybody can shake that, he can do it, versus a young pitcher that has success and then gets to the postseason and doesn't. And if he's 2 or 3 years in the league, it's going to be interesting to see. But believe me, Philly, he's well aware of what those Phillies hitters did to him in Game 1, and those hitters are well aware. So it's going to be coming off a no-hitter. Philly bats can't be feeling too good right now. I'm really looking forward to this matchup tonight.
How long you played in the World Series? How long does it take you to get rid of that World Series feeling as opposed to just playing baseball?
I really don't think it's particularly the World Series. I was fortunate enough, 3 or 4 years to go to the postseason, go to a couple rounds in the playoffs. It's more that first game of whatever round it may be, whether it's the division, whether it's the ALCS, whether it's the World Series. It's usually that first game of that new, fresh series. You move on and you go to the ALCS, and then that game one, it's usually like, get those butterflies out. All right, now it's just another series. Get to the World Series, game one, get that first at bat, get that first ground ball out of the way, and then it's just another series. I think they're at a point right now, the two teams, where they're not coming to the ballpark saying, oh, it's the World Series. No, this is another series for them that, by the way, if you win it, you're gonna get to raise that big trophy. So all the butterflies are gone at this point. The butterflies I see, usually maybe the starting pitchers, they're going to have it. They know you're in World Series, you're in Game 5, you're somewhere special, and they know that. But the position players that have been playing the last 4 days, no, just another game for them.
Okay, this is a clown question, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
I am, Rich.
Because I don't have that many clown questions, but this one is. What's it like to stand there during the World Series when they introduce you? I ask you this because you said, that first game you get the jitters. It's so unusual. You only do that during opening day, the All-Star game, and then the playoffs. And I've sat in those meetings, those broadcast meetings before, where the teams are negotiating and the PA is saying, hey, our guys don't want to stand out there for 35 minutes while you go through the introductions of both teams. And, the first game, they'll introduce both teams and everybody on the team. And after that, they just introduce the starters because it reduces the amount of time the players have to stand out there on the line because we all watch the first team getting introduced. But if you're that first team, you're standing out there for 15 minutes while we do the other team.
I'll tell you, I've never had a complaint from myself, from another player. I think it's almost, I don't know. I first of all, I think it's for the fans.
It is.
I think it's a show. It's the World Series.
It's so cool.
Bright lights. But at the same time, as a player, I'd be lying if I say I didn't think it was cool. I think it's really cool. I liked opening day because I did have butterflies. I wanted to kind of get my mind elsewhere. And opening day, what do? They announce you and you run to the line. It's cool to get to see the fans, to hear the ovation, and not from a arrogant standpoint, look at me, let me pound my chest. Just like, no, we've been busting our butt all year, 162 games. We're the final two teams. We're in the World Series, and look at these fans. Soak this in. Look at it as man, you're lucky. Isn't this pretty cool what we get to do for a living? And I always reveled in those times. I thought it was really cool getting announced and going to the line because you knew something big was about to happen and you were somewhere special. So myself, that's what I took away from it. I love doing it, and I never heard one player ever complain about lining up on the line. Man, it gets you going. And to just see those fans and just see how excited they are, I think it's great for the game. And it's, this is entertainment, Rich. We play a sport, and from 7 to 10 every night, I don't really think about the fans or they're out of my mind. Sometimes I don't even hear them. But it is entertainment. The fans love it. It pumps the players up. I think it's a really cool thing. And I've always loved doing that.
See, I'm going to go yell at the people from ESPN and Fox because they were telling us, oh, the players hate it. They don't like doing it. They complain that their legs get tired standing out there. And I thought, that's kind of stupid.
Now, if it was something that you did, if they wanted to do it during the season for 162 games, I think I'd have a little bit of a different take. This is coming out to the line. There's only a certain times you do it, right?
Right.
And it's opening day. It's the All-Star game, and it's where you're. If you line up again, you've had a really good year, and your team's had a really good year. So take it as a compliment. Take it as a way to go. This is your reward for playing a great year. You get to go line up on the line again. If they did it all the time, yeah, it'd be tedious, and I think the players would complain. But I'll tell you what, I'll never complain about having to line up on the chalk for a World Series game. It's special, and you should cherish those times.
All right, quick question for you. Going back to the Phillies, you talked about it. When you have a guy that has late life, the way that Javier Vasquez did last night, you come back and I don't know. And obviously, he baffled the Phillies hitters. Talk to us about what it's like when you have the night like the Phillies had the night before where everybody's red hot and it seems like everybody's locked in. How contagious that is and what's it like in the dugout and as you get ready to the on-deck circle. And then the flip side of that is a night where you're getting no hit and nobody can put the ball in play.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, it was just the tale of two pitching performances. McCullers came out the night before. And for me, I've always been a bit baffled. Yet I tip my cap to Lance McCullers. He throws pretty much 70% off. As a hitter, that's a dream for me because I know I can just sit on off speed. I don't even have to worry about the fastball. And if he throws me a fastball, I'll take that because I know eventually I'm going to get that break ball. The problem was with Lance the night before was he wasn't locating it. And he was missing by a foot and a half off the plate. And then when he would throw a strike, it was a cement mixer just spinning in the middle of the plate. Those guys were sitting on his neck all night. I'm amazed they didn't score more runs than they did. But right out of the chute, you saw his body language, too, if you were watching the game. When Harper took him deep, that first pitch of the first at-bat made it 2-0 really quick. I didn't like the body language I saw from McCullers. It was almost a defeatist body language, and I know everybody else, especially his teammates, saw that. At that point, I said, he's in for a long night right now. And I remember when they panned on Dusty. I said, Dusty, get somebody up in the pen right now because he just didn't have it. He just didn't have it. He couldn't locate it. They were sitting on off speed, and what happened. I was really amazed that the kid that pitched last night, he didn't pitch game 3. That's what baffled me because I figured they'd go him and McCullers would be in the pen and then they go back to the top in Verlander because last night, like I said, was Verlander's night. Now he's pushed forward one, but also Valdez. This is supposed to be Valdez's night, on 4 days rest. So pretty interesting how it's worked out to this point, but we'll see. Should be a great series from here on out. I still think Houston's going to win this series.
All right, who have you had on the podcast lately?
We have Irving Fryer out today.
Ooh.
Next week we've got Lenny Wilkins,
the basketball coach.
And the skipper of the Oakland A's, the rookie skipper, and a buddy of mine, Mark Kotzek. So those are the next 3 coming on the program.
All right, who else have you had lately? The Randy Couture one.
We had the Randy Couture. Oh, and I just did one recently with a 27-year veteran MLB umpire, Mr. Cheetah.
Tim Cheetah.
That was really Tim Cheetah. It was really interesting. He was one of my favorite guys when I played. He was there during my tenure. He caught up with me and talked to me about when Dad was behind the plate. He came in, Dad was still playing the last 5 years, the first 5 years of Tim's career, the last 5 years of my dad. He talked about that and loving to work with Bob Boone. So he had some interesting stories, but I always liked him. He gives us some really good insight because, Rich, I'm always complaining about that stupid white box that they put on Fox or whatever station. It's inaccurate. It's for entertainment for the fans only. And I confirmed it with Tim Cheetah. Really interesting conversation.
Oh, nice.
That's not how the umpires are judged. There's a completely a separate thing that they're judged by, their balls and strikes. So that, when you're yelling on your couch, oh, it hit the line, it's a BS line. It's strictly for entertainment value for the fans. So guys like us can sit on the couch and yell at the umpires.
I love it. Check out the Boone Podcast wherever you get your podcast. Some really, really good ones. I want to hear the Randy Couture one again. That was really interesting when he was talking about working in Hollywood on the Expendables. Yeah,
Couture was great. And it's cool because we do a lot of football players, a lot of baseball players. I love getting outside. We do some Hollywood, but I love getting outside my comfort zone and going into a new world, the world of fighting. The MMA, his journey. How do you become an MMA guy? Do you wake up one day and say, I want to get punched in the face for a living? Most people go that normal route, boxing, whatever it may be. Started off as a wrestler. He went into the Army. It's just such an interesting story how he got to where he was. Now he's turned his career towards Hollywood now, and he's doing those Expendables. He's working on Expendables 4 right now.
Ooh.
So really interesting journey, and I enjoyed it. And I love getting outside my comfort zone. I don't know anything about that world, and it was educational for me a little bit.
When's the last time you got punched in the face?
Me? It's been a while. It's been a while. I try to turn the other cheek, Rich. You know the type of guy I am.
I thought maybe Aaron punched you or something.
No. Aaron might have been the last guy I punched in the face.
There you go. I like that.
He had headgear on, though.
That's outstanding. Hey, Booty, thank you so much. Enjoy the World Series night. I'll catch up with you. All right, take care. All right, coming up, we'll do Dragon Balls football headlines. We'll talk a little NFL football, college football. We're going to talk about that big brawl between Michigan and Michigan State. All that coming up next here at 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website.